Hello guys, Charles here and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about inverted intervallic pairings. Now that's just a posh way of saying that there's intervals which when we flip them over on themselves, they create another interval, and there's only a couple of pairs of these. The first of which is a second, so if we go from a C to a D, that gives us a second, and if we flip that and we go from a D up to a C, we've got a seventh. So the first pairing is a second and a seventh. The next pairing, which is the one we're going to be focusing on today, is a third. C to E becomes E to C. So it's a third and a sixth. And the final pairing is a fourth and a fifth. C to F is a fourth, F to C is a fifth. So today we're going to be focusing on thirds and sixths because they give us a really pretty tonal sound. And I want to demonstrate a couple of ways that you should be practicing these pairs. Now, although I'm going to give you a couple of ideas today, the general takeaway point of this video is that whenever you are working on one of these intervals, make sure you're also practicing on its opposite pair as well. The same concept, because they're really interchangeable, and it just kind of times what you're working on by 2 in terms of its usefulness. You can apply it in twice as many situations and mix them together to create interesting sounds. So for this first exercise, we're just playing a major scale and we're descending in the key of C major, and we're basically just descending using thirds. Nothing particularly special going on here. I start with just a single note so you can get a sense of the direction we're travelling, and then we add the thirds in as we go. That sounds like this. So that was simply a descending major scale played in thirds. A surprisingly difficult thing to do nicely. I'm really trying my best to play as legato as possible, but as always, I can continue to improve at that and try and blend some of those movements together a bit better. So now let's invert this exercise. So we're going to do a major scale ascending now. That was descending, let's do it ascending. And this time I'm going to play it ascending in sixths. So this is the inverted third, gives us a sixth. So this exercise is ascending through the major scale in sixths. Again, focus on playing that one as smoothly as possible. It's not easy playing scales and intervals. It's just a difficult thing due to the nature of the guitar. So try your best to get it as legato and as smooth as you possibly can. So now let's look at some of the ways that we can blend these intervals together to create some slightly more interesting sounds. Now, like I say, thirds and sixths create really pretty tonal sounds. So these are really nice sounds that we can experiment with to fill out the harmony in a nice, inoffensive way. There's no jarring stuff going on here. It's always going to sound pretty. So let's return to the descending C major scale exercise. I'm going to play the first 3 notes, then I'm going to harmonise them in thirds, then I'm going to repeat those notes again, but this time harmonised in sixths, and we get a sense of the different colours available to us. Let's hear how that one sounds. So we can already get a real sense of the harmonic potential of thirds and sixths. We're just outlining harmony here. So these are ideas which you can use not only as a soloist and lead player, but also as an accompanist. Putting in some nice moving sixths and thirds is a really pretty sound. So let's take that idea to the next level and let's actually try and apply this to some real harmony. So this next exercise, we're now looking at the key of G major, and we're just going to take this idea around the chord progression of Autumn Leaves in the key of G or E minor. All I'm doing throughout this demonstration is 2 thirds in a row, then 2 sixths in a row, so on and so forth, over and over again. Let's hear how this sounds. So you can hear the harmony really clearly there as we move through the thirds and the sixths. Now I kept on ascending through that example, but obviously as a rhythm player you would stay in the low end of the instrument. So let's see how that would sound. But again, you wouldn't stick to this same idea over and over again for a whole progression, but you can hear how it's a useful exercise if nothing else. And we've got a little bit of vocabulary there which we can use as a rhythm player. So let's try it, and I'm going to just stay in the low octaves, but same idea, third, third, sixth, sixth. So I hope you enjoyed some of those sounds and you find the idea here useful. Remember, the exact examples I've given you are neither here nor there. The point here is that when you practice one interval, you should practice the opposite interval as well and work on interweaving them together. They're always going to play well with each other, these opposite intervals, before you start to try and interact with different intervals. So it's seconds and sevenths, thirds and sixths, fourths and fifths. And we'll look at those in another video in the future. You could also kind of add a unison and an octave to that. But of course, a unison and an octave aren't really an inversion of one another, but they kind of follow a similar concept. So you can think of those as a pair as well. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what else you'd like to see covered on this channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, subscribe, ding that notification bell so you're kept updated with all of my uploads, and share with any of your friends who might find these exercises useful. And as always, I hope you're all doing very well, getting plenty of practice in, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.
Roll up, let me embed a story you'll never forget. A drip, drip, but drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out, and I